This is the closing market report for Monday on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. On the phone right now with Bill Moore of Price Futures Group as we wrap up another day in the ag marketplace. And Bill, as we kick off this week, a lot of information from the markets to digest. What's going on in the grain and livestock?
Yeah, well, Trump is kind of unpredictable when he announces stuff, usually through his social website. Once again, this weekend, it happened again. Just a backdrop is that last week we had the summit, of course, in Beijing with President Trump and President Xi. The market action was that the last 2 days of last week was pretty sour because there was no concrete sales announced. Just generally, people said trade was good. The market needed more than that. And so the market in the 2-day span dropped 60 cents from 12.30 to 11.70 in the July bean contract off the disappointment right after the meeting. But then on Sunday, over the weekend, the White House released a fact sheet in which they announced that China had agreed to buy $17 billion of U.S. ag goods annually on top of the $12 billion they'd already committed. That the $12 billion is the 25 million metric tons. They said earlier, a few months back, that they buy every year from us for the next 3 years. So that's a total of $28 to $30 billion. And even though China hasn't we got no word from China that they gave a thumbs up on that, and we've got no numbers yet. That the market's taken that to heart, and the market has jumped dramatically since Friday's close, and the biggest gains, one-day gains across the board that I've seen in a long time. Corn is up 20 cents at 4.76. So if you look at the chart of July corn, it's off the lows from Friday by almost 30 cents. So that's a positive. You look at the bean market, beans are up 37 cents. The July beans on the close Friday down around 11.70 mark, and now they're up toward the top end of the range they've been in the last couple of months. And even the wheat market is responding. Wheat up 27, KC wheat up 15. So it's the biggest news. I mean, there's other things to look at, the crops and the exports, but this is by far a bombshell reveal from the White House over the weekend, and the market's taken it to heart, even though China hasn't really confirmed. So that's the action so far in the market's pretty amazing. In addition, you've had some heavy storm activity in the planting areas that could impact the crops. We'll see what happens. We do get a planting update today at 3:00. I think around 70% of the crop is in. We'll see what they say. We did have export sales today that were the normal good in corn at 1.378 million metric tons, beans 487,000, wheat 223,000. So that's basically the news. Big news. I guess the market was a delayed announcement of good news from China. Trump chose not to say anything right after he got back and waited over the weekend to make the announcement, and the markets responded accordingly. The market needs good news. We need E15 to get past, and we'll take any bit of good news we can get and assume it's true, like we're seeing today with these double-digit gains in the grain markets. Livestock-wise, a little lower day. The market's kind of congesting off its highs. You look at June cattle. June cattle is right off its highs, came within about 50 cents of its highs today, and then sold off a little bit. June cattle corrected $10 from the last May contract highs on May 1st. But it's recovered most of that correction. It looks like it's congesting for a move higher. And even though we're at record levels, demand apparently is still alive and well. The scenario in the livestock and the meats is the same. The cattle is at record levels and pushing higher because of the great demand period we're in and because of the tight stocks. And the hog market is at the other end of the spectrum. At the bottom end of this, pushing the lows every day and can't get out of its own way. And markets can maybe have the low close for the year today, off its highs by $12 or $13. So the gap between cattle and hog prices is extreme. Sooner or later, the consumer is going to make a change to the cheap pork, but sure hasn't happened yet.
All right, Bill, lots of great information today. For anybody who'd like to get in touch for more marketing information and check out your newsletter, how can they do that?
630-947-5176. WMoore@PriceGroup.com. Check out my newsletter, Agmaster. www.pricegroup.com. The company website. Look at the bios of Jack Scoville, myself. We've both been there a long time. We'd love to help you out.
That again was Bill Moore of Price Futures Group. We'll look at the numbers next.
Every county fair has that special person or family. They are there before the gates open and long after the lights go out, helping families with projects and pitching in wherever they're needed, never asking for recognition. The Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, along with Wiffles Hybrids, is honoring them with the Heart of the County Fair Award. 6 winners will be recognized locally and at the Iowa State Fair, with a plaque, cash prize, VIP passes, and food coupons. Don't delay. Nominations are due June 1st. Visit iowaagnet.com to nominate today.
At the close, July corn up 21 1/4 at 4.77 even. July soybeans up 36 even at 12.13 even. July soybean meal up 20 cents at 334.50. July soybean oil up $1.75 at 75.63. Chicago wheat up 28 3/4 at 664 1/2. Kansas City hard red winter wheat up 15 3/4 at 703 3/4. Minneapolis spring wheat up 18 even at 703 1/4. July oats up 9 1/4 at 373 even. On the Merc, June live cattle down 52 cents at 253.37. August feeders down 260 at 358.85. June lean hogs down 22 cents at 98.52. June pork cutout went unchanged at 114.47. And June class 3 milk down 10 cents at 16.92. That's been a check of the closing market prices. Thanks again to Bill Moore of Price Futures Group for joining us today here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, where Iowa Ag matters. I'm Riley Smith.